It is with very great pleasure that I bring you my own mud house, or a cob house, or a matope house, whichever way you want to call it, so that you don't say, oh, Cynthia preaches water and she drinks wine. So this is my own. But I like to show you how such a house is made, because I was not able to capture my own during the time that it was being constructed. So this is a neighbor's mud house. Yes, so the movement is ongoing. So this is a neighbor's, and he wants to put the reeds on top of the roof. So that is the only difference. Otherwise, the structure, the type of materials used is the same, except for these ones that you see me touching here. So these ones are going to go to the roof, and they are reeds. So these kind of reeds are usually found along wet areas. You can find them along river banks and such kind of places. And you can see the house, the mud house. Actually, this is the skeleton. This is how it is made, by using round poles. So most of what is used here is round poles, as you can see, of different sizes, of course. And then along the round poles, usually they get reeds. So the same reeds that we've seen earlier, those are just the leaves. So the reed stems are the ones that are used to barricade the walls of the mud house, as you can see. Of course, I need to bring it closer so that you get a better view. And then these reeds are usually tied on the poles using either barks that have been gotten from trees, or stems from creepers, or sometimes they just use strings. So the previous options, the former options usually are used when you want to sort of cut down on costs. And then eventually now the mud is put onto these surfaces. So on both the exterior and the exterior, mud is applied. Then it becomes a cob house. So for my neighbor is going to use the reeds that you can see. These ones are going to go to the roof. And usually this one creates a very cool ambience inside the house. I don't know if you've been to a cob house before. If you have, please tell me in the comment section. Such kind of houses were usually very common when we were growing up. I don't know if it is just basically due to the economic status of those times. I cannot tell, but nowadays they are not so common. People are moving away from these ones, and apart from that, you find people constructing them, and then eventually they put cement or Nero on the walls. So that is just the only difference between this one and the cob house that I'm going to show you. Also, take note that the cob house that I'm going to show you is not yet complete. It is just in the initial stages of its construction. In fact, when I started it, I was hoping that I was going to put grass on the roof, but then I changed my mind and decided to just use iron sheets. So this is the interior view of the roof when you are inside. So this is what you'll see before the roof is put. It looks like a cobweb. For me, the best part about an earthen or a cob house is that it breathes. It breathes. When it's too hot outside, you feel the interior being humidified one way or the other. So come on, let me show you my mud house. So this is the gate. This is the gate here. Please don't be judgmental. And that is the house that we are going to visit today. So this is the gate. I'm just using 3 round poles, 20 feet. This is supposed to be the gate eventually when this farmhouse comes to be a reality. So let's get inside. That is how I open it. No technicalities. I just put it down like that and I get inside. Then of course the reverse is how you close the gate. So karibuni. Welcome so much to my home. So for starters, the door is a swing door. meaning that as soon as I leave it, it closes itself. That's why you see me struggling with the supporting it so that it doesn't close itself while I'm inside. But before that, let us get a trip to the exterior. So it is as simple as you can see. It does not have windows yet. It is made of corrugated iron sheets, mud, reeds, and round poles. That is just it. If you want to add the nails, then that will be a bonus. Yeah, and as you can see, it's been standing here for quite a while. Well, let's say over 8 months since it was constructed, and you can see the outside has not yet been made into what it's supposed to be. So usually when you make such a mud house, the exterior should be made into a smooth surface soon afterwards, so that it does not cake the way you see it doing right now. Then in between the walls and the roof, there is that metallic or iron sheet piece that is usually put, so that it prevents the ants from crawling up to the roof and eat the round poles that are supporting the roof. Yes, a bit of the exterior. It has been neglected. You can see the reeds are almost reaching half the length or the height of the house, but this is going to be taken care of today. I'm planning to do some cleaning in this compound today, especially after I'm done giving you this tour. We've also carried some tree seedlings that we'd like to plant along the fence. So it is a neat one. I'm not being biased because it is mine. I think the roofing was done in a very neat way. And in a week's time, I'm going to plaster the outside using mud. So you better keep it here so that you see how the process is usually done. I'm also going to give you a simple breakdown of how much this house costed me in the next video. So you have all the reason to make sure that you keep it here so that you see the breakdown of the same. Well, that is the door. As I mentioned, this is just part of the corrugated iron sheets that remained when we were doing the roofing. So I just painted it gray, and that is the door. This house is 2-roomed. The first room that we've just seen, and this is the second one. The door frames in such a mud house is usually just the round poles. When you want to put the doors, that is when you can now go for the official frames that are usually put in standard houses. So this is the second room. A bit of termite infestation. You can see the metallic piece that I was talking about in between the earth wall and the roof. So that one makes sure that it takes quite some time before the ants can actually access the roof. You can see the floor is actually not done, and this area is really prone to termites. So the floor has termite holes. Sometimes when it rains, we usually get the what are they called? The flying termites actually just coming out of the floor. So this is the door. You can see it is a very simple one made out of smaller round poles and the cheapest pattern that you can find in the market. This one I actually bought at just 60 shillings. So the one on the exterior is more expensive than that one. Then this is our fireplace. Anytime we are in the farm, we usually cook our lunch here. And that is the door out. And that is probably the shortest house tour that you've ever seen on these streets. And since we are here, then let us get to work. So this is the corner that we usually store our farm tools. And I'm going to try to clear the compound a bit because I've noticed that we have these touch me notes. They are really invading our space. So today, now that I'm done with the house tour, I'm going to clear the compound, and this is just what I'm going to do for the rest of the time. So you can spend your time with me or you can choose to stop watching this video now and get to see the other editions that I've had on this channel. And just like I was hoping, it rained. So I had to cut short the process of removing the touch me notes from the lawn. But it's a good thing that I carried the tree seedlings that I was talking about earlier. So you can see they're in a crate at the doorstep. These are pine trees that I got from Uganda. There was a time I went shooting content in Uganda. Not so deep in Uganda, just along the eastern side of the Kenya-Uganda border, and that is where I got them. Apparently, I've been looking for them in most of the nurseries where I stay, but I've not found them. So I'm just hoping that they get to grow, especially now that the rains are back. So as you can see, the madhouse is protection enough. It rained heavily, it rained very heavily, but we were safe in the madhouse, as much as it is not yet completed. And apparently the madhouse also has the ability to keep the interior warm, especially now that it was very hot during the day. It has the ability to insulate the outside from the interior. From the interior. That is just one thing that I wanted to mention as first-hand information. So it was quite cold outside, but on the inside it was relatively warm. And apart from that, it is a good shelter. There was no leakage from anywhere, and this is quite encouraging. So moving forward, I'm hoping to renovate this space so that it is something even more habitable, and I hope you stay on this channel for long enough so that you'll be able to witness this process with me. So the rain is slowly coming down, and as soon as it is over, we are going to start transplanting the pine tree seedlings. It's amazing how fast it gets dark whenever you're doing something that is interesting, something that you're enjoying. So this video has to come to an end here because we did not even finish transplanting the trees that we wanted to do. We had 67 seedlings and we only did 13. So catch up with us so that we get to share with you how the transformation of this simple madhouse compound is going to be. Thank you so much for staying loyal and staying true to this channel. Until the next one, it is goodbye for now.